And thus, poker's drama over this twerking woman has exemplified cancel culture, culture wars, feminism, politics in a fantastic way, but more importantly, showing us, in my opinion, that they've lost. Woke don't work anymore. Moral purity, fake scandal, garbage, feminism, it doesn't work anymore. And this today, my friends, I give you the poker WPT drama. The story goes like this. A video was posted of a woman twerking on a poker table. A female poker influencer got offended by it, then called out several other females to demand some kind of action. This created some kind of debate where several dudes white-knighted saying, this poker influencer can do no wrong, despite the fact, as it turns out, the influencer in question, who is upset of the twerking, posts thirst trap photos and videos herself and explicitly calls it out, even at one point being accused of using a fake big boobs filter. And thus, it isn't so much about poker, my friends. It's funny, but it's largely about general internet culture as it is. Because while this is the current story, which is a bit drama-oriented in poker, and you get to watch a feminist get the smackdown, no one's buying it. She's basically lost this one. Even the company is like, nope, which is really funny, by the way. It shows you, I think culture is changing, but it also shows something about the future of social media, men and women's roles, what is effective and what isn't. And I'm going to say this to piss off all the feminists. Now, I don't just play poker, I also skateboard, right? And there are female skateboarders that, well, I'll put it like this. Most female skateboarders is fugly. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be a dick, and I know a bunch of white knights are going to come and get mad. I'm here to tell you the truth that everybody already knows. Dudes know this. Like most females that are good at skating and very into skating, not very attractive. But things are kind of changing now with more and more women coming into skateboarding. The point is this. There are some female skateboarders that are literally just posting sex content. And what people have begun to call out, even women, is that in many industries, hobbies, whatever you want to call it, women represent an overall minority. I think in poker, this is like 5% of players, some ridiculously small amount. So when the women do engage in the content, they get their most attention by being sex symbols. That guys aren't going to follow a woman for being good at poker or skateboarding or chess or whatever because they're not particularly good at it. So why then would a woman be an influencer in any space? It's going to be, are they sexually attractive? So let me give you the beginning of this controversy. I will play the twerk video for you, of course. This is Club WPT Gold. This is a post from an influencer named Abby Merck. And she responded to this saying, another unbelievably disappointing post from Club WPT Gold. Part of having a platform is knowing how to use it. What could possibly have been the point of this except to get clicks by demeaning women? GTO players took this from us as if this is what you want to see women reduced to? Oh, heavens me. Sex symbols in the industry, lame as F, do better. Oh, man. Women, am I right? Now, I know that around 20% of my audience is female because the truth is this. Women don't watch this kind of cultural content. Women tend to watch content about relationships, and you can cry about it, you can yell at me all day, but it is true. From soap operas about relationships to The Bachelor and The Bachelorette to 90 Day Fiancé and Love is Blind, women watch content about men and women coming together. Men watch content about objects. Women watch content about subjects. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's funny that there are women who are offended by this idea. That's how women tend to be. They're allowed to. And I see nothing negative about a woman wanting to watch a show about people getting married or doing whatever they want. They're entertained by what they're entertained by. Guys want to do backflips and play poker, whatever. So this becomes drama when a woman who posts overt thirst traps to get followers, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, the only reason she has followers. Literally, I'm not playing games. There's going to be white knights coming up like, that's not true, Tim. I play for... No, you don't. Nobody's watching a middling low-tier poker player, female, play poker because she's good at the game. They're doing it because she posts thirst traps. Okay? And guys who don't want to admit that are just simping. Spare me your lies, dude. There are way better poker pros. If you want to watch some of the best gameplay, I'm not talking about the clickbaity, oh, look, I called the 7 deuce and 1. I'm saying if you want to watch real professional level play, it's always guys playing. And I love these videos. I'm a big fan of Negreanu. He's got a comment on all this drama. For those who are not familiar, one of the best poker players of all time. He's got these great compilation videos of just reading people. And that's what I really love about the game is when you have limited information, but you've figured out exactly what they're trying to do. And you've got these viral videos where Negreanu's like, you got ace-4, don't you? And the guy's like, and throws his cards away. Like, how did he know? That's really impressive. How did he know? Because we're not psychics, right? What I don't care for, me especially, as I'm married with a child and work and probably going to have more kids coming soon. I know people get shocked when I say that. Oh, yeah, we want to have a big family. What I want to watch in skateboarding is not some woman in short shorts sticking her butt in the air and doing a middling trick. I want to see homie do a 540 big flip front board on Hollywood 16. I want to see Jamie Foy do a front blunt to, what do you do? Front side, blunt side, back 180 to front side nose blunt slide across the whole rail at Tampa. And then some woman comes out, jiggles her butt or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, we get it. That's fine. I'm an old man. So I'm not really moved by that, but I understand why the young guys are. But I do think ultimately it's bad for an industry only when they pull this white knight garbage. So let me slow down and show you actually where we can start. Because I know all the young guys want to watch the video of the woman twerking. And so here you go. Here's the video that started it all.
The hip move. The hip move.
Yup. There she goes. She's twerking on the poker. They're having Friendsgiving. Probably ruining their old poker table as it is. And that was it. She lays back. Everybody's laughing. This woman chose to do this. I don't know who that woman is, but they were having fun. And then we get this, as I showed you from Abby Merck. All right. She says, Nikki Limo, I don't know how to pronounce your last name, Nikki, would love to hear your thoughts on this as a female ambassador for them. And Jamie Kerstetter would also love your input. Here's another ambassador for them. Oh, boy. A poker pro named Matt Berkey chimed in. Check this out. He says, weren't you doing jumping jacks in a tight dress that Stapes felt the need to shield from the camera on a televised poker show while wearing a Bet MGM patch? No shade. To each their own, of course. But this woman seems to be having a just as good a time. I would be careful throwing stones from your glass house. She says, I was forced into that as a result of the Wheel of Pain and actually had Stapes hold a jacket up to protect myself from the camera. Not the same thing. And Matt responds, I'll await your post calling out the entities holding a gun to your head. Ah! All right, here we go. We got Haley Hanna. Haley Hanna, another, I don't know if Haley considers herself a poker influencer, but she plays on streams and things like that. She says, yo, Abby, we are cool and everything, but this is laughable. Yes, I agree. The post they made is lame, but to make a whole feminist stance about it when you actively attempt to post thirst traps daily on Instagram and make content centered around your appearance is a bit hypocritical, no? Literally half the reason you're on the map is because I called you out a year ago for making poker content about your bra cup size and called you a clown. Oh, boy. She says, she chimes in, I appreciate the fact that you agree with the sentiment, but my success has nothing to do with my appearance. Spare me. Come on. Nor your post on Twitter. When I post something that I feel I look good in, it's called a thirst trap, whether I meant it to or not. As per the cup size joke, I don't think you ever really understood that joke, and that's okay. It was a miss for you, but Club WPT's post was a miss for me. It's as simple as that. Oh, boy, here comes the drama. Haley responds, this was what you posted in, quote, day in the life of a poker player. But yeah, girl, keep preaching for women to not be objectified and looked at as sex symbols in poker. And she put the camera apparently on like a counter and then opened the fridge in her underwear. And she wrote, I got no clothes on for some reason. And here I am in the kitchen for some reason. Oh, boy. Indeed. And that's not the only post she's made like this. So, listen, a day in the life of a poker player. Let me tell you about my life. So, I was talking to a pro recently, and I probably play maybe 8 hours a week of poker tables, maybe a little bit less. And it's usually like Friday and Saturday night. That's about it. And it's like 4 hours each. So I actually don't consider it to be all that much, to be completely honest. Although I guess for most people who play recreationally, they play a couple times a month. Playing twice a week, I guess, is probably a lot. But I enjoy the game. I usually play relatively low stakes. I'm not trying to lose money. Although I tend to win money. I do. That's why I like the game. It's fun. It's more about like trying to figure out what your opponent's doing, battle of wits, trying to read them, understand them. It's a good game. I don't consider myself to be playing all that much. But talking to a pro about all of this stuff and what's going on, I'll tell you, a day in the life is certainly not this. It's relatively boring. You want to get a good night's sleep. You really do need to eat right. I think one of the funniest things that I learned about all this stuff, playing poker. What I learned about playing poker is, when I first started playing more seriously, I've been playing it a little, like basically my whole life. Most people have to a certain degree to play with the boys or whatever. Plus, I play Magic the Gathering and other card games. So there's a similar overlap. When I first started playing, I thought it was relaxing. I was like, after I skate, I'm tired. I'll just sit down at the table and we'll goof off and play some cards. And my watch tracks my energy levels, my training, my heart rate. It's a workout. Your brain is at like max capacity. It's pretty nuts. And after a few hours, I'm like, whoa, like totally drained. Not getting physical exercise, but it really is just draining the juice from your brain. Really something interesting, to be completely honest. So pretty dang tiring, I will say that. So a day in the life, when I go, I don't play all that serious. I don't play tournaments. I couldn't tell you what these pros are doing. I'll tell you that for me, I realize that if I actually want to play the game seriously, you can't do it when you're tired. You can't do it after work. You can't do it after a workout. It literally is strenuous. Well, anyway, this Abby chick chimes in. She says, I got canceled on Twitter this morning for standing up for women. I love working in poker. But isn't that funny? She's not standing up for women. This is exactly the point. She's not standing up for women. Let me tell you my thoughts on this. This woman on a poker table from Club WPT Gold's post chose to do it and is having fun and everyone's laughing and they're goofing off. Whatever. Here's what I think. I think this Abby person she posts thirst trap content. Check this out. Here's Haley Hanna saying, Abby, don't objectify women in poker. How dare you? Also, Abby, fake boob filter while talking about a promotion. Like, you just saw the other thirst trap stuff that she's posted. Let me, where did here you go. Here's what she looks like. And then she makes this. Yeah, okay. That was from one of her videos doing a promo for a poker company or whatever. Gigantic fake boobs. It's funny because it actually makes her look more morbidly obese than like large-breasted, but I guess is what happened. Is it? That's pretty crazy, dude. Here's what I think happened. Anyway, here's the point. I think this chick she knows she gets attention from doing thirst trap stuff in poker. There are not very many high-profile female poker players who do this kind of stuff, if any at all. So she's getting a lot of followers, but there is a line. She posting her butt in her underwear in front of a refrigerator. People are going to follow her and they're going to give her likes or whatever. And she knows what she's doing, but she can't also be playing the game with thirst content while jumping on a table and thrusting around. It's actually really interesting. And I want to shout out Home Math. I wonder if Home Math could do like an assessment on this, because that'd be interesting. My assessment is this. This woman twerking on the poker table has gone to the furthest end of like sexualized content, but she doesn't care to be treated as a serious poker pro. She doesn't want to be in that space. Abby is trying to be in the space as a poker player, but she doesn't have the skills to be a Phil Ivey or a Helmuth or whatever. Someone who's going to, or Wolfgang, someone who's going to get a lot of attention and make millions of followers playing poker. What she can do, however, is jiggle her butt in her underwear. She can't cross that line into just doing twerking. So what I see is Abby is threatened. If WPT can post this kind of content, then people are not going to need to follow her, because guys will just be like, hey, look at this lady jiggling her boobs. This is why many of these women want to stop, like sexy women dancing at events. It's like it's feminism is doing this because women aren't going to compete with men at the highest levels, but they are going to be looked at as eye candy. So if they're at the table and they're playing, there is some advantages in any sport and any hobby a woman can have. Now, in football and stuff, you're not going to get females. And the WNBA is boring. But in skateboarding, you have a women's division. In chess, you have a women's division despite the fact women are allowed to play in the open division. So here we are. Now, here's what the important part. Poker Germs responds by saying, this is disgusting. Everyone smiling and having a good time. But when I did this last year, people were puking and I got banned from the casino. Club WPT Gold says GLP-1 and they'll like it. The point is this. The crescendo, my friends. Club WPT Gold doubled down. Basically said, take your feminist moralizing and have a nice day. We ain't playing this game. One guy says, 20th time I've seen it. And I just realized our sign says Friendsgiving. Friendship still exists, so pure and special. And they responded, it's a Thanksgiving miracle. See, you know what I love about Club WPT Gold's approach to this? Is that they know poker is a bunch of dudes drinking beer, hanging around, smack talking, and having a good time. And if the women come in and say, men aren't allowed to do these things, guys are going to be like, oh my God. Guys, can we not do this, please? Now, I'm going to tell you, for the young bucks out there, we got Greg Goes All In. He's a funny guy. I'm a fan. But you can't be simping like this with the white knight and stuff, okay? So a letter in support of Abby. Can we not? I'm going to say this. I'm very, very anti-Abby. I don't know her. She's not very famous or anything like that. But this is the drama you're getting. What I do see here is an exemplification of how you get wokeness and cancel culture and Gamergate and all these things. When people start simping, these young guys who are desperate, simp for a woman who is wrong and causing problems. If this spreads and people get scared, you will destroy an industry. So I have no problem coming out and saying Abby is a bad person. This was wrong. All people deserve forgiveness, but this is wrong. Some chick posted a video of herself twerking or whatever, and they were laughing and having a good time. Okay, I'm not a big fan of the twerking stuff, but, you know, like, what am I going to do? Sitting here playing a poker game, everything within moderation. I'm not a big fan, like I said, but I'm not a fan of Abby posting thirst trap stuff either, but I do think she's allowed to do it. And if guys want to follow her, they're allowed to do it too. If young guys want to see, you know, some young woman get in her underwear and jiggle her butt on camera like Abby does with fake boobs or whatever she's doing, that's fine. Me, I'm old, okay? I'm turning 40 in 4 months. And I got a wife and a kid. I'm not interested. I don't need to impress any young women, nor like, certainly as a man, you'll like seeing attractive women or whatever, but I believe in honor, loyalty, faith, and marriage and all of these things. So I'm not really interested in other women. You know, I think too, you get older and you're just kind of like, I just been there, done that. But for the young guys that want to watch that stuff, sure. Like, do your thing, right? So Greg Goes All In says, Club WPT Gold has posted an posted a woman dancing in a sexual manner on a poker table with the caption, GTO players took this away from us. It's very esoteric, but for those that are saying, I don't know what that means, you don't really need to. It means game theory optimal. They're basically saying something to the effect of, like, people who play in a very mathematical, computerized way and they're not having fun anymore, something like that. He says, Abby responded with the above message. I felt profoundly sad to see that many of the messages responded to her post slut-shamed her and reduced her success solely to her looks. I will not play this game with weak individuals. There is, if Abby wants to jiggle her butt in her underwear, she is allowed to do it. I don't care. Greg, if you want to follow her, I don't care. I really don't. Sex is a part of human existence, and guys like girls, and girls like being liked. It was always allowed. But stop fucking pretending that we live in some world where men are like these women jiggling their butts. You know what always really grinded my gears? Everybody be like, hey, Tim, you want to go to Hooters to get lunch? And I'd be like, no, I don't. But they got really good wings. No, they don't. Hooters did not have good wings. It's gone now. Hooters had women who were told to lean on the table and push their boobs together so you'd buy food from them. I don't care if you want to go to Hooters. Just be honest with me and say, I'd like to look at the big boobs while I'm eating a cheeseburger. And I'll say, all right, bro, I could eat at Denny's. I can eat at Hooters. It is what it is. Never been a big fan of strip clubs. I know all about that. If you are, though, that was always allowed. Always. You can do it. Stop pretending, bro. That's what I just can't stand. It's the pretending. He goes on to say, let me simply state my support for Abby's opinion and my disapproval of the vitriol she's received. Like, dude, Matt Berkey saying, don't you jiggle your butt and tits on camera is not vitriol, is not hate. Now, there are some people certainly that are upset with her, but she started it. She tried to moralize this position that she has no authority to moralize on. He says, my aligned opinion with Abby is this. It is inappropriate and distasteful to sexualize women for the promotion of a product. What? That's what I ain't doing this. If any of my friends did this and got backlash, I'd say like, come on, dude. Come on, dude. He says, I can understand why many people have reported that Abby is being hypocritical, having displayed sexuality on her own platform. However, my opinion is that a woman has the choice to express herself whichever way she likes. Whether a woman finds sexuality or modesty empowering, it's entirely her choice. How Abby chooses to express herself on her platform is her choice. Indeed. And Club WPT is a corporation that may be comprised of many men and many women. Now, they actually responded in a really funny way. They said, but what if a woman posted this? She did. They didn't, but could you imagine? I thought it was really funny. Dude, you don't get... See, this exemplifies exactly my point. Greg defends Abby, and I'll say this too. Greg's a really funny guy. He makes great content. And I'll tell you, let me say something. Let me say this. My point is that he says Abby's allowed to do sexualized content if she wants, but a corporation shouldn't. And that's the point. Abby is upset because she is being disempowered. She has the ability to sell sex. I'm not saying do porn or whatever. I'm saying she posts underwear shots and fake boob videos. That is how she's going to get attention in an industry that is mostly male. And she's not a particularly great player. You've never heard of her. Yet when a corporation does it, it takes her power because if the corporation can post sexualized content, what has she to gain followers with? Greg says, when a company actively decides to use a woman's sexuality as a marketing tool, especially of a woman who had no intention of being used this way, it's alienating to and uncomfortable for female consumers by perpetuating the sexualization of women in that industry. This is Abby's core argument. As for the vitriol she has received, I am so heartbroken to see the kinds of responses she's had to read, yet unsurprised. Systems of power work flawlessly because the public enforces them. In this case, when Abby spoke up against the sexualization of women in poker, she was immediately battered down with slut-shaming, strawman arguments, and brainless insults. This is misogyny and patriarchy working perfectly, as it does. For the system to be broken down, we need disruptors like Abby in the space. It bruises my heart to see this young woman in her mid-20s having to carry the burden of advocacy for her entire gender through so much online hatred. You know what really is just really... What's so funny about this is that other women are calling her out. Man, this is how oppression and patriarchy works. Dude, spare me. You don't get to post underwear pictures of yourself and then be surprised other people want to watch that. This is the lie. I have no problem saying, don't be a dick to Abby, whatever, but I think it's fair to criticize her. Here's the ultimate point that I am making with this. And here we go, because I'll probably make some enemies in the space. Not that I'm a prominent poker player or anything like that. I'm friends with a handful of pros. There's a handful of pros that are fans of the show. To be honest, there are pros in a bunch of areas that know who I am and watch my content. I only really interact with the ones that I know, like musicians, skateboarders, and poker players. I'm sure if I was into golf, I could go hang out with some pro golf players or something like that. Abby, for no reason, tried to create a culture war in poker, which is massively detrimental to poker. However, fortunately, Club WPT Gold isn't playing these games and pushed back. They got 14,000 followers. It's not the biggest thing ever. They're posting funny things about this. They've doubled down. I think they've got some posts doubling and even tripling down. They're basically just making fun of her the whole time. Here's here's a guy in the shower with no shirt on. Like they're not doubling down with that post. That's just a funny bit about people doing the weird things they do. But they basically just laughed it off and said, we ain't playing this game. And I say good to this. When I saw this drama bubbling up, I'm like, I tell you what's going to happen. Thirst trap drama is prime for culture wars. There's 1,000,001 channels, like I mentioned, Homath, who are going to look at this and be like, I can get 1 million views calling out these fake feminists who jiggle their butts on camera, but get mad when other women do because those other women are a threat to them. And I'm like, oh, here we go. So I was talking with a few other influencers, and I said, guys, this is my space, okay? I do the debates, the online, the culture wars, the politics, and I'm telling you, first I'll say it's great that Club WPT said, screw off. Like, we don't care. And I think like Doug Polk, another pro and big YouTuber, made a video about it. This shows that we are winning. The fake moralization, the feminist outrage doesn't fly, and we're not going to let it, and that's a good thing. The problem now is people are going to draw sides, as you saw with Greg. I followed this guy for a long time. He makes really funny videos about poker games, but here he is deciding to enter the territory. Greg, I warn you, please do not enter this. You don't know what you're talking about. I don't mean that derisively, but you will get battered in this space. Okay, I'm smart enough to know this. Okay, I got invited to a poker stream at the lodge, and I got crushed. And I said beforehand, I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna get destroyed, because I'm not arrogant enough to try and enter a space in which I'm not an influencer, not a pro, and think I'm gonna come out on top. To be fair, I ran bad. We're doing another poker stream coming up in about a month or so. So I get it. I have no problem going in there and being modest and saying, I love the game. I'll probably get crushed by a lot of great players who know the game way better than me. Who am I, right? Who am I? The idea that these people think they're going to make posts about feminism, gender advocacy, and patriarchy, I say just say nothing. Now, I'm going to give a shout out to Daniel Negreanu on this one. Negreanu's fantastic. This guy deserves a lot of I say a lot of good things about this man. Shout out to Daniel. I'll tell you why. Aside from being one of the best poker players of all time, and I'm a huge fan, I think he's the best. I do. And not because he's the most winningest or the most bracelets or whatever you want to say. I talked to him about this because we had him on the show. I was like, the reads, like he has all these viral moments where he just identifies the hands of the other players. Certainly, there are other players who win more or don't talk the game or whatever, but he has exemplified in many ways what I love about the game. And maybe a lot of people don't care as much, but being able to figure out what someone else is doing, read their intentions, their expressions, and explain it, I'm a huge fan of this. So I think he's the best. Not the biggest winnings, but he deserves credit for a bunch of other reasons. He used to be a very liberal guy and was very resistant. And then he told this story where another poker player showed him the video of Trump saying, and not the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists, they should be condemned totally. And he accepted it. While many of these people refuse to acknowledge or won't even look into the lies of the corporate press, Daniel was like, wow, I was wrong about that, and started researching and doing the work, and now he's more of a moderate guy. I think he's still a liberal guy, much like I am, but you realize you're being lied to. So I have tremendous respect. He called all this stuff out. There actually is more drama. This is crazy. Apparently, there's a documentary series, and they AI generated fake quotes. And that's more in my space, right? This is why I'm doing this on a Tim Pool show. Negreanu says, I see my future. I'm a new member at South Shore Golf Club. One of the younger guys hanging with successful people in their 70s and 80s and taking in the wisdom offered to me. I will be that man in his 70s and 80s hanging out at the club telling stories to the new members. I'll be a solid contributing member to that community of really good people. I'm always going to be a fierce competitor on the poker table too and enjoy the mental challenge. But my God, I will not waste my time engaging with a truly petty and juvenile drama we have seen of late on poker Twitter. It is beneath me. It is beneath most of us truly. Those in the cesspool, I truly pity them. They are lost, often jealous, unhappy souls lacking meaning and foundation in their own lives. This anger and drama is what makes them feel alive, and by any measure, that is truly sad. Some of you will mock this post. I get it, but you are just further proving my point. Let them, simply let them. Negreanu says, exactly. I agree. The reason why I make this video is not to get into the muck and the mire, but it's to point out creating culture war drama is detrimental to poker. It will make people mad at each other. It will make animosity at the table. People won't want to do shows together. You don't want to go there. It's bad enough the culture war is spread in all the other areas that it has. And it is good, in my opinion, Negreanu's calling it out and saying, let's not bask in this, which is the ultimate point. We are winning. And who are we? We are the rational anti-moralists, right? We have morals. We believe in certain things, but we're not going to play this game of fake moral outrage just to get clicks or whatever it may be. And so I say this, the appropriate response to all of this drama was Negreanu's, not Greg goes all in. To blame the patriarchy and power systems is cringe, garbled nonsense. Like I said, I don't care if Abby wants to do whatever she wants to do. My point is simply this. I'll give a little pushback, maybe like 10% on the Negreanu post. I think it's fair to address the posts themselves and say, guys, stop. That's kind of my point with all this. Stop playing this game. Stop trying to fan the flames, which is why I say largely I agree with what Negreanu is saying. I think he's basically saying that. I think it's important for me to criticize the creation of the drama from an individual who thrives off of the social element, the sexual element. In the end, I say this. The reason I wrap highlighting Negreanu's post, despite all of the drama engagement I myself have engaged in, is to say, the principal issue I have with all of this is that trying to create a culture war in poker or in any industry is a bad thing. It's bad. And so just stop. Play the game. I do have some fear, though. The reason why I say I reserve about 10%. If you don't stop the moralization now and everyone just agreed with her, that's how you get Gamergate stuff. I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Inanity, I suppose. Subscribe. I'll see you on the next segment.